From Cheater's surveillance cameras, you are about to view actual true stories filmed live, documenting the pain of a spouse or lover caused by infidelity. This program is both dedicated to the faithful and presented to the false-hearted to encourage their renewal of temperance and virtue. Coming up on this episode of Cheaters.
Maurice and that female got into a black limousine cruising around Deep Ellum.
I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. Y'all let it go. Y'all let it go. Baby, I'm sorry. Come on, baby.
You didn't know that he had a girlfriend?
No.
Reality television is brought to you by Cheaters Detective Agency's Private Eyes on Cheaters.
Lindsay Riviera confides that her longtime boyfriend may be up to no good. Nervous about the future, Lindsay seeks refuge in the arms of seasoned professionals. I'm Clark Gable, and this is Cheaters.
The reason I fell in love with Maurice is because when we first got together, he was real sweet, nice, he was a gentleman. He never talked to me out of line, he never was disrespectful, and that's really why I fell in love with him, because he was a real good guy. Now when I go see Maurice, we're always arguing, and it's really never peaceful between us. It's not the way it used to be. During the weekdays, like I said, he's a barber, so he says he's at work. I'll call his job, he's not there, he's off doing something else, he won't answer his phone. So I can never get a hold of him during the week, but during the weekends, usually I go over at 9, probably Friday. Lately, it's having to be like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It's getting later, so it really makes me feel like I don't know what he's doing before I get there. I don't know who he's with before I get there. Sometimes, I'll smell like a different perfume, something different in the house, or something's moved in mine, and he can't explain it. Puerto Ricans, we are very aggressive, and when it comes to a Puerto Rican female and her man, we're very aggressive and very crazy about that. But honestly, when I do find out, or if I do find out who it is, I'm gonna go off on both of them. I'm gonna beat both their asses. It's gonna be a completely different me.
If you suspect infidelity in your relationship, Cheaters Detective Agency may be able to provide you assistance. Exercise your right to be informed. Investigative charges may apply. Maurice, age 31. A barber accused of trimming down time with his girlfriend for another woman. Investigation Day 2. Going over the suspect's itinerary given to detectives by an anxious Lindsay, Cheaters operatives set up outside his residence. Agents spy their subject, identified only as Maurice, leaving his home. Mobile units begin pursuit. Maurice drives down the street to a nearby taco stand. He picks up some food and gets back on the road. The suspect arrives at an unknown apartment complex. He waits outside the main gate. Coming out one of the pedestrian exits, an unknown female approaches the black sedan. She gets in, and Maurice pulls the vehicle into the apartment's parking lot. After finding a spot for his car, Maurice hops out. His companion follows and formally greets Maurice with a hug. The suspect waits by the trunk as the woman grabs the food from the passenger seat. As she preps the meal, the suspect spanks his date on her pleasantly plump rump. The unknown woman laughs and apparently forgets the meal and becomes busy dancing with the suspect. At some point, Maurice takes his gold chain off and places it around his lunch date's neck. They hug and kiss by the car. Then the woman places the bling back on Maurice's neck. After some time, the mystery miss makes her way back to her apartment. Maurice pulls up his baggies and gets into his vehicle. He backs out of the gate and drives home, ending this day of surveillance. Investigation Day 4. Cheaters operatives once again set up surveillance around the suspect's home. They catch sight of Maurice leaving. He winds his way down a familiar road back to the same apartment from previous surveillance. The suspect parks on the bike lane and waits. Soon he is rewarded. The woman, known only as Leah, comes out of the gate. She greets him with a hug and a kiss. Maurice, trusting soul that he is, allows her to drive. She takes them on a path which finally leads them to a sandwich shop. They order and eat their meal. A short time later, they leave the shop, get back into the suspect's ride, and cruise to Leah's apartment. She bids Maurice a fond farewell with a generous amount of hugs and kisses. After a short time, she departs and Maurice heads back home for the remainder of the day. Investigation day 6. With a change of pace, the suspect exits his home after dark. This evening, he drives to his honey's apartment. Once he picks her up, he treats her to a night out on the town. Mobile units tail the pair to a downtown restaurant. The suspect flirts with his date, hugging and kissing her right there in the parking lot. After their public display of affection, they make their way into the restaurant. The pair grab a corner table and order a meal. They laugh and converse as they wait for their food, but it's Lindsay who's left with the check, as demonstrated in this phone call.
Hello?
Hey, where you at, baby?
I'm at the house chilling. What's up with it?
You gonna be home tonight?
Usually you come over on the weekends. What you trying to come over on the weekday for? Usually you come over on the weekends.
Good, I was thinking about you. I missed you.
Tonight is not a good night.
So you finna go to bed right now?
Yeah, 9 o'clock, yeah. So I gotta get up at 6. I gotta go to bed a little early. So I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
All right.
With more than enough evidence on Maurice to prove his shady acts, agents close the case and begin compiling their report for Lindsay's evaluation. Coming up, the confrontation.
Now that her boyfriend's secret rendezvous are uncovered, Cheaters brings the details to Lindsay. With corroboration of her fears at hand, Lindsay remains vigilant in her pursuit of the truth.
Lindsay, how are you doing this evening?
I'm all right.
We've conducted our investigation as per your request and have come up with some very interesting findings. Are you ready to see that?
Yes.
All right. On this day of investigation, we are outside of Maurice's home. He walks outside, gets into his vehicle, and arrives at this taco shop. A short time later, after picking up some food, our detectives follow him, and he arrives at this unknown apartment complex. Moments later, this unknown female approaches his vehicle, gets in, and they drive into a parking lot at that same apartment. Maurice then proceeds to open the door for this unknown female. They get their food out on the back of his car and begin to eat. A few moments later, with a slap on the rear, Maurice gets a little bit more excited. They then finish their food. He begins to put his hands on her. Maurice then proceeds to put his gold chain around her neck. They cap it off with a smoke, a kiss, and she gives him his chain back. She goes back into her apartment complex, and Maurice returns to his house for the evening. On this day of investigation, our detectives tail him. As he arrives at that same apartment complex, we have that unknown female emerging. They embrace for a hug. She then takes the wheel as Maurice gets into the passenger seat. They drive off together and arrive at a sandwich restaurant. We then see this internal surveillance of them standing in line together, ordering their food. After finishing up their sandwiches, a while later they exit and arrive back at that same apartment complex. Maurice gets out of the vehicle, embraces the female, grabbing her butt cheeks, slapping them once again. And then the female goes back into her apartment complex, and Maurice returns home for the evening. On this day of investigation, Maurice gets into his vehicle and leaves. Arrives at that same companion's apartment complex. She gets in, and they drive off together. They then arrive at this restaurant. We then see them embracing for a kiss before walking inside hand in hand. They sit down together at the table, begin to converse. They finish up their meal before Maurice exchanges multiple kisses with this female. A while later, they exit, hand in hand, get into Maurice's car. Our detectives follow them, and they arrive back at that companion's residence. Maurice then proceeds to open the car door as they have a long and passionate embrace. We then see the companion goes back into her apartment complex. He gets back into his vehicle and returns home for the evening. I understand you're very upset right now. I want to let you know that I'm here to represent you and to get you your answers. That's why we're here. So let's go ahead and get out of this cold weather. I'm going to give our lead detective a call on the case, Detective Gomez, and we'll find out if there's been any movement at their location. If there has, then we'll proceed to go confront them. Now my question for you is, are you prepared for that?
Yes.
All right, right this way. Detective Gomez, tell me something good. All right, great. I'll relay the message, thanks. Yeah, description is a 10-foot limo, black stretch on rims. Copy that, I'll call you soon. Thanks. Okay, so Maurice and that female got into a black limousine. They're in a stretch limo, cruising around Deep Ellum. Our lead detective, Gomez, on the case is following them right now. And what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna take over his position, get behind them, and wait for them to pull into somewhere. And we're gonna trap them in and bust them. Stretch limo right there. All right, man, right now. They're stopping.
Everybody out, everybody out. Everybody out, everybody out. Man, what the who the that, man? Who the man? Who the why you following us, man? Who is that?
Are you serious?
Oh, baby, I'm sorry,
Are
baby.
you
I'm
serious,
sorry, baby. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. No. Y'all let it go. Y'all let him go. No, baby, no. No, baby, I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry,
What's up,
baby.
bitch?
I'm sorry.
What's up, ho?
I'm sorry, baby.
Bitch, I'm right here, bitch.
I promise, baby, I'm sorry. Come here, baby. Let me talk to you. Come
Talk
on,
to
baby.
you about what, mother?
So, can you tell me your side of the story?
What's there to tell? I don't know nothing.
You didn't know that he had a girlfriend?
No.
Coming up next, the conclusion.
They're in a stretch limo, cruising around Deep Ellum.
Baby, I'm sorry. Come here, baby.
You didn't know that he had a girlfriend?
No.
Damn, baby, I'm sorry, baby.
Sorry.
For real, I'm sorry.
You ain't sorry for
Baby, I'm just trying to have some fun, baby. I'm sorry, baby.
What's up? You ain't sorry for
Man, you've been going through a
We've been
lot,
going through a lot,
baby. You've been going through a lot. Y'all stop. Hold on. Come on,
We've been going through what? We've been going through?
Hold on, let me talk to you.
Really?
Come on, baby. Come on.
Really? You want to put this over her head?
You don't feel used in a way at all?
Excuse me. Embarrassing me on TV like this?
You deserve it. You ain't some embarrassment. You ain't
You do me like that? You'll do me like that?
Do you
I
like
thought
what?
You had love for me.
I had love for you. You over here this
Me on
bitch?
TV? Man, that's something that I was doing, man. You can't.
That's something you was doing. What the f*** you doing no
Come on,
pants
man.
on for, motherfucker? What's up?
You don't even act like that, man. We can talk about this.
We can talk? We can
go
talk?
home and talk about it.
Go home.
Let's go home and talk about it. Let's go home and talk about it. Let's go home and talk about it.
Go home.
So you don't want to talk about
Home
it?
for what?
Come
Home
on, let's
for
go
what?
home and talk about it.
Home where? Where the f is your home? Because you don't stay with me.
I don't stay with you anymore. You hit me in my mouth and everything on TV and everything. You embarrass me like that.
You is an
and how
embarrassment.
my friends gonna look at that? How am I have my image on the street,
Your friends
man?
are just like you,
know what I'm saying?
dirt-ass
For real,
dogs.
They're gonna look at me like that,
Maurice.
man, like you hit me, man, for real.
Maurice, what happened, man, with your relationship with her?
Man, we just been going through it, man. We've been together for about 5 years, man. We've been going through it, man.
When you say going through it, what do you mean going through what?
We've been having problems up and down.
What type of-
What the f problems we've been having except for me being down for you?
We've been having
And me
a
being
lot of
around you.
problems.
Since you want to be
You
cheating.
don't satisfy
and
me
everything-
sexual no more.
Okay, that's fine.
You know what I'm saying?
Really?
I'm like, damn, I need.
And
I
you
need-
put her through this, she don't even know me.
Yeah, she don't know you.
So
That's
you
why
put her
gotta
through
fight her.
this?
Where you
You put
gotta
her in the
fight
line of danger. You know
gotta
how
fight
I am,
her.
round, bitch.
Yeah,
Play your role.
Hold on.
Play my role, bitch. Who the f is you?
You chill.
Hit her, his bitch. What's
Yeah,
up?
for real. I was
That's
gonna
your
tell
bitch?
You, that. You better not eat me.
I will bust your
I was gonna tell you.
Maurice, I will bust you in your ugly ass. You got teeth as it is, ugly ass mother.
Come on, let's get back
You
to
ain't.
this. Come on.
Why the f you trying to hide it? Why the f you trying to hide it, bitch ass?
No.
What's up?
Y'all ain't not finna fight now. It's not.
What, you don't want your bitch face up? She can't work?
Come on, man.
So Maurice, why would you concoct this whole entire situation with the limo, with everything? Are you trying to win this woman over?
Yeah, I like that.
Why
woman.
you
I
still have a
really like
girlfriend?
that woman.
Why you still have a girlfriend?
Y'all stop.
Punk ass hoe?
Maurice,
Y'all stop
I
that,
got your man, bitch. You ain't got your man, bitch.
You gonna eat me on camera? Y'all stop.
I got your man, bitch. I got your man, bitch. Why his just good? His size my pinky, man. I got your man, bitch. His size my pinky. I hope you like it.
You made that up. Don't make me.
You know you got a little ass. You ain't.
Dude, tell me, this is crazy, man. You have 2 girls fighting over you. We have a 10-foot-long limo with like 24s on it. So what's the situation? Are you trying to?
You see, you just let her hit me on camera.
Man, don't touch him. Cause you ain't.
I don't want to hit her. Y'all tell her stop hitting me.
You ain't.
Stop hitting me.
Don't touch him.
Don't
touch him, bitch. I've been touching it. Just like the other.
Get down, baby. Get down. Get down. Come on, let's go.
And I ripped your dumbass hoe.
Down. Come on, let's go. Come on. Let's get back in the limo. Come on.
Yeah, I'm coming, man. Maurice, why are you running away, man?
Get in the limo. Man, get y'all bitch ass away from the limo. Man, for real,
So Maurice.
Nah, man, I don't want to talk no.
You're done with your girlfriend?
Stupid ass, get your ass beat. Bitches beat your ass. You ain't neither one of y'all bitch ass to make the hoe. You ain't no. You a hoe. You a hoe. With a pinky size.
Don't even chase that trash. How are you feeling about the situation right now?
He can go to hell.
He can go to hell.
Like, this relationship's over. His car's the car I bought is mine. All that. I got her in the face pretty good.
Yeah, you hit him in the face.
I got him good. I got her good too.
Yeah, he was running away from you. I want to let you know that we do offer counseling. I'm not saying you need it, but it is an option to look into. If things are still going the way they shouldn't, let us know and we'll take care of it. Let's see those paws. You had a whole hand of nails before this happened, and now we're missing 1, 2, 3, and that, look at that, that's a good one.
It's like I lost half of them now, and that one's bloody,
So with that being said, I just want to make sure that you are content with what has happened tonight.
I'm fine. I got a piece of both of them over there.
Following the confrontation, Lindsay extinguishes the love she once felt for Maurice. In a short while, we'll disclose whether her heart recovers. But first, Cheaters presents Justin Bell, a former suspect wishing to explain the circumstances under which he was caught by cheaters.
Christy asked me if I wanted to go to the tomato battle, and I said, yeah. You know, it sounded like a good time, and I just wanted to get out and, you know, have some fun, have a couple of cocktails, you know, get a tan, and just blow off some steam. I didn't know what to think when Penny showed up. I really didn't. You know, my heart dropped, and I felt awful.
What the hell? What the? What are you doing here? What the hell? What is Who is this bitch? Get her! Get her!
What are you doing?
Dude, I wanted to come to this video. Right my ass! I saw the video. I saw the video.
Later on that night, I went home and sobered up a little bit and took a shower and got all the crap out, you know, out of my hair and off of me, and tried to call Penny. You know, Penny was my first phone call just because, you know, she was who I was with. I mean, I love Penny, and, you know, we had been through a lot together. She won't return my phone calls. She wouldn't return my phone calls, and she still won't. I tried to call Christy and, you know, explain the situation to her as well, but she wasn't having it either. You know, she just told me she never wanted to see or hear from me again.
Why would you cheat on her? You answer? Where's the third party, dude? Where's the third party?
I think my plan, you know, moving forward now is just to learn from my mistakes. You know, like I say, this was heart-wrenching for me, and I don't expect anybody to feel sorry for me, but I definitely learned a valuable lesson and just move forward. I can't dwell on it.
Following the devastating events of the confrontation, Lindsay Riviera has severed all contact with the man she loves. She states that no man has the right to play with her emotions in that manner. She says emphatically, that son of a bitch needed a wake-up call, spending all that money on that woman and not a dime for me. He ain't no man, at least not a man I want to be with. For his part in the adulterous liaison, Maurice believes that Lindsay took things too far. He claims she overreacted. She didn't need to do all that, bringing them cameras and lights and all. She didn't have to hit me in the mouth. She could have straight up asked me and I'd have told her the truth. But no, she couldn't trust me. She had to call cheaters. When asked about the affair, Leah would only say, "Yeah, I knew he had a girl, but I didn't care."
Cheating is a crime. It happens every day. Ugly people running around. Pretty soon they'll have to pay. They think nobody's watching, but you better think again. Another heart is broken.
Now remember, if you don't get your programming from Goldstein's, why, we'll both lose money.